If you are a nonprofit trying to use Google's $10,000 a month grant and it feels impossible compared to a few years ago, you are not crazy. Google has quietly changed everything, and now 9 out of 10 organizations are struggling to spend even $500 of this grant every month. I have figured out exactly what they did and how to beat it. Let me show you. All right, let's look at this account. This was fourth quarter of 2020. We were spending thousands of dollars, getting lots of impressions, lots of clicks. Moving into third quarter of 2022, you'll see that those have more than halved. We have kind of trickled back up second quarter of 2024, and now we are in second quarter of 2025. Conversions are a really big factor when we look at the grant. Back in the day, a page view was considered a conversion. Really, anybody that's clicking on a website is doing a page view. When Google said, hey, that's not really a good conversion metric to track, they got very specific and said, we need you to be tracking if people are giving donations, if people are watching videos, if people are signing up for things and filling out forms. Those are a lot harder to track. A lot of things while they have improved, it affects the money that is spent on the backside. When we look at any accounts, we know how frustrating it can be when we're not spending. The goal is not necessarily how much of Google's money can I spend, or at least it shouldn't be, in my opinion. It really should be, how do I get valuable clicks? How do I target people that are out there who don't know my organization exists to get them to see an ad, click on my website, and do something. Several years ago, a lot of businesses were not doing paid marketing. It's pretty expensive to run paid ads. Now there are social media ads. Now there's these grants. So years ago, the level of competition when it came to online advertising was a lot smaller. Now that we know that not only a lot of churches are using the grant, there are nonprofits getting into that realm now. A lot of accounts even have paid ads that they run on the side. Marketing budgets have increased all over for every sort of business around. Knowing that means that there is a lot more competition out there. Paid advertising is going to trump a grant account every day. Google does not make any money from a grant account. They are not benefiting from this at all, except for them getting a lovely tax write-off and helping nonprofits, which is why they created the program. But if we look at it from a business standpoint, Google wants to make money just like every other business, and paid advertisers who are paying for Google ads are going to get precedence over a grant account. That does not mean, though, that your grant account has no chance in winning bids. When we go to Google and we say car inspections near me, for example, this is a sponsored ad, right? They have paid to be here. They are at the top. Jiffy Lube right here has also paid to be here. This is not a Google ad coming from a paid Google account. This is in the businesses like the Google Maps, but this guy here is a sponsored ad. Now there's ads at the bottom of the page. So we have top page ads now, and we have bottom page ads. Why is this important? Some search results, I'm sure you've caught on to this, are the pages can be longer than others. You'll have more organic search results in between the ads on top and the ads on bottom. But if we know now that some ads are on the bottom, we have also looked at grant account results, and a lot of those ads are going to be bottom page views. Obviously, being at the bottom of the page, if there are top page ads, it's going to affect how your grant account runs. But if we know that Google is now putting ads in bottom page and top of page, and it's on every page. If we go to page 2, there'll be ads there too. Different ad bunch here, which is nice to see. So just another example of bottom page ads aren't going to potentially make as much money for Google. But if we look at a lot of our grant accounts and we can see that bottom page ads are actually getting the majority of our clicks, then we know that's where they're located. So that was tip number 1. The more assets we can add into these accounts, the better that these bottom page ads can have a chance. All right, quality score. Quality score of keywords is a really big deal in an account. The validity of somebody searching for this keyword is high, low. If we look up quality score Google ads, all right, this is a diagnostic metric on a scale of 1 to 10 that estimates the quality and relevance of your ads, keywords, and landing pages. In a grant account, we have no control over cost. Cost per click, we're not setting that budget. We just get to say we want to spend $329 a day, which tries to max out that account. But Google is saying they set the cost per click. So because we already don't have control over that, we do have to make sure that our keywords and our quality score are as high as they can be because some of the other competitors may not be paying attention to their quality score. Their quality score may be a lot lower than ours. So making sure that the keywords that you are using are not uber generic. Is somebody going to find what they're looking for on your website? Do not add keywords in your account that don't relate to what you're doing. If you don't have information on a certain topic, you can't really advertise for it, because Google's gonna say there's nothing on these pages that I can find that relates to this keyword over here. So the user is not going to convert or do an action, because they're gonna get to the site and say, hey, I searched for car inspections and now I'm on this website that has nothing to do with car inspections, but it has to do with oil changes. Policy tightening. Policies for churches and some Christian or church-related nonprofits that we see, you will have flags in your account for targeting or advertising personalized religious beliefs. This does not affect ads and how they're shown. You just have a target on there. If you were to be advertising in certain countries, that's a problem. If you're just locally targeting in your area in the United States or Canada, something like that, that's not going to affect you. But if you were to decide to go global, that might have some effect on some countries that have other advertising restrictions other than the US. Knowing all the policies is not your job. There's a giant list of them, but as you kind of work in your account, sometimes you might see certain flags. You're not going to get your account canceled or deactivated right away. You'll get some warnings to say, hey, you can't advertise for this, or this landing page contains this content that you can't add push to. That's one way that Google has changed a lot of things from 5 to 3 years ago and to where we are now. And obviously having more policy restrictions is going to affect how often your ads are shown, the audience your ads are shown to, etc. I think here's what Google didn't account for. I don't think they accounted for people like Reach Right, because we've kind of figured out some things and they've added some new tools here and there in these accounts. And it's kind of been a lot of testing, as far as let's test to see what's working. If it's not working, let's turn that off. Let's turn something else back on. The majority or an average account may not easily spend $10,000 now. I think the conversion rate and the valuable clicks that are driven to websites, we're probably actually getting better results now for the client, rather than on paper, just reports looking great and people are happy because their account is spending $8,000 to $10,000 a month. But years ago, with that conversion tracking being kind of a little different, I do think that quality of ads that are being shown now and clicked on now are way better than they were before. Some of the solutions that are gonna really help here: strategic landing page optimization. It is no question, like I've said before, that landing pages and where we're sending traffic on the client's website is important. If the landing page has a graphic on it and no content, that's not gonna get us any leads. Let's think of additional ways that we can get content on our website to grab the attention of the searcher, bring them to our website. Here's the landing page that has the information that you wanted, but then I'm also pushing you to the rest of my website where I can say, here's why you landed here and what I can offer you. This is a nonprofit. He has a lot of articles that are extremely well written. I have been on a lot of websites that, let's say you have a landing page and it might be decent. This landing page, and I'm just showing you not necessarily the content of it, but just the way it's written out. We break things up with headlines, a lot of meat here. You landed here because you had a question on why is fall from grace not a biblical concept. This article has a lot of keywords that can be attached to it, right? It's pretty generic when we think about what does fall from grace mean, or how would people be searching for this. At the very end of this is where he tells you, now that you're on my website and I've answered your question about what you were looking for, this is what I want you to do. Go buy this book, go take this course, go sign up for my newsletter, get something else. It's more of like a learn more. While that's a click on your website, that's not probably your goal as an organization. You didn't want to just give information. You're wanting to get something from somebody, whether it's money, donors, connections, something. So to get that, we have to ask people. This account, for example, is a pretty new account, and we're spending thousands of dollars just on his articles. Now, when we first started his account, we didn't have any content like this. We were literally just targeting for men who want to grow in their faith, who want to be better husbands, who want to be better men. When we talked about, hey, how do we get people that are gonna want what you are doing, but they're not searching for you yet, right? They might be searching for other things that are going to get them here. And we came up with the concept of, let's write some articles that are really going to target what people can look for. Structuring content is important. If you just had a bunch of information like this, great graphic, breaking it up with some bullet points or some headlines, and again, here's the very end, do something. Google wants to see media, so whether it's a video or a photo on a landing page, they want between 300 and 1,000 words per page. And then they want a call to action. So those three things are gonna be super important for a proper landing page per Google standard. If you have a Google My Business account, then you can link that into your Google Ads account. This is called a location asset. This is extremely important for location targeted accounts. So this also helps put your Google My Business information into your ads account, and then we can actually use that for conversion tracking. Did people request directions? It adds in like a link for directions to Google Maps directly under some of those ads. It's a pretty cool new little tool. So location assets are important. So if you don't have a Google My Business account for your business, you should have one. Target CPA is a cost per acquisition. This is a bidding strategy that has not been allowed in grant accounts, and it really doesn't technically affect a grant account because we're not setting the bid for this anyway, but we can turn on target CPAs initially in an account to kind of help trigger things along and say, hey, we're willing to spend $200 a click for this, or this value is important to us, so let's turn on target CPAs, add a pretty big breakdown, and then let impressions start to go, and then we'll turn them back off. Target CPAs is not something that we want to leave on in a grant account. Again, it's really not affecting the actual bidding, but because a grant account is technically set up to function like a Google Ads account, it's a metric that we can turn on so that Google's learning metrics will kind of trigger that and say, oh, let's make an adjustment here on the internal side, and then we go back in and turn it off after impressions and clicks have started to trigger. One more thing to add, like adjacent keyword expansion. Keywords are what pretty much drive a search campaign in a grant account. Like let's say you have a food bank, for instance. There are only a certain number of keywords that can be accounted for. Food bank, free food, food delivery, food pantry. We also have to think of other words like nutritional education, healthy eating. If we're targeting free food, you're going to get a lot of junk clicks for that. You really got to do some keyword research to figure out adjacent keywords. What are some other words? What are some other vocabulary that we can target that really mean the same thing or are in the same vein? But because everybody uses Google differently, you're going to search differently on Google than I am. You might use different verbiage than I do. So because of that, we've got to kind of try to cover all grounds when we put all of this stuff together in an account and kind of see what works and what doesn't. The grant is not dead, but the old way of using it is. Connect with us, comment on the video. We'd love to help you out and hopefully get things going for you. If you had a grant in the past that was really working and now you're struggling, we get it. We are here to help. I did a full deep dive breakdown of what's working right now. Watch this next. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Reach Right puts out a lot of content. We want to help churches and nonprofits utilize the tools that Google has for you. Leave us a comment. Let me know if you have any questions.